From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In the NoCo. I'm Brad Turner, in today for Erin O'Toole. One day in 1975, two men came to the Boulder County courthouse seeking a license to get married. Marriage equality was not the law of the land back then, but Clela Rorex, the newly elected Boulder County clerk, could find nothing in Colorado state law that would prevent her from issuing a marriage license to a same-sex couple. So she did. And she issued 5 more in the next few weeks before she was ordered to stop. It was a historic moment in the movement for LGBTQ rights, and her actions made her a hero and a target of backlash. Mardi Moore is the CEO of Rocky Mountain Equality, an LGBTQ advocacy group based in Boulder. She was a friend and colleague of Clela, who died 4 years ago at the age of 78. June is Pride Month, so today we're listening back to a conversation between Mardi and In the NoCo's Erin O'Toole, recorded last summer. Mardi talked about how Clela Rorex made history back in 1975.
I don't think it ever crossed her mind that she would be issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples. She wasn't part of the, quote, gay agenda. She didn't even really know any gay people, or if she did, she didn't know they were gay. And so when these two guys showed up from El Paso County and they said they wouldn't give us a license in El Paso County, but they say Boulder probably will, she looked through all of the documents, all the laws, and at that time in the state of Colorado, it did not say marriage was between a man and a woman. So the district attorney that she had talked to, who works for the county, said it looks all clear. And she issued that marriage license and additional licenses until the attorney general of the state of Colorado shut her down.
Mardi, on some level, Clela must have known this would make her a target, even in Boulder, which is among Colorado's most progressive places. How prepared was Clela for the repercussions?
Clela was not prepared for the repercussions of what this meant in society. As a women's rights activist, Clela said on more than one time, who was I to deny someone else their rights? Yeah. When she issued those licenses, it all broke loose. Her son, who's a friend of mine, who still lives in Colorado, he was a young man, and he still has a little post-traumatic stress disorder from answering the phone when people would call and say terrible, terrible things.
Wow.
Clela was wished death. She received many letters suggesting she burn in hell. The supposed Christians were those that yelled the most. But she'd also got letters of support. I read one that has stuck with me over the years from a man in a European country who got a letter to her telling her how much it meant to him and that gave him hope for what his life could look like.
I have heard stories about how one man protested her actions by asking for a license to marry his horse. How did Clela respond to that?
Well, so this old guy showed up back in the day when you could ride a horse into Boulder.
Yeah.
And, right into the heart of the town with this horse named Dolly, and marched in and said, I want to marry my horse. And Clela looked at him and said, well, how old's your horse? And he said, well, Dolly's 7. And Clela said, that's illegal in this state, and turned him away.
Because the horse was too young.
Too young to marry.
But that's a brilliant way, I think, that she kind of got around what he was obviously trying to provoke.
Yeah. Clela was pretty good at diffusing situations. Her eyes would kind of drop, her chin would turn, and whatever's getting ready to come out of her mouth, you better get ready, because she was a great thinker.
Clela has been described as an accidental ally. What does that mean to you when you hear that description?
She might have started as an accidental ally, and what that means is she didn't sign up to issue same-sex marriage licenses. She didn't sign up to be an ally or an advocate for LGBT rights. She became an active ally. At one point, Clela said to me, do you think I'm an armchair ally? And this is after she's speaking out on social media for her rights. She's donating to LGBT organizations, and the list can go on. And I said, Clela, you are not an armchair activist, and no one can ever accuse you of being such.
Clela remained an LGBTQ ally and advocate. She also became a friend of Jared Polis, who is Colorado's first openly gay governor. What was their relationship like?
Clela loved Jared, and she called him Jared, so I'm going to refer to him as such.
Sure.
They became friends. Jared was our congressman in Boulder County in CD2 for a very long time. I think they connected through that. He knew who Clela was. And so they became friends over the years. Everything Jared did was okay by Clela for the most part. She was just so proud of him. When she got sick, her actual last wish was that Jared and Marlon had gotten married in the pandemic, or Clela wasn't well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was out in my yard working one morning, and my text message went off, and I looked down, and Christine, who's a friend of mine and Clela's, said, Clela has one last wish. And she was sick, and said her last wish is to be able to wish Jared and Marlon congratulations for their wedding, for their marriage.
Yeah.
So I texted a friend who I knew had the governor's cell number, and within minutes, I had gotten a response that the governor and the first gentleman would be at the hospital, BCH, the next day.
Wow.
And just like clockwork, they showed up. They went in the back entrance, and they both came in to her room, and she was able to congratulate them.
When we think about the fight for rights in the LGBTQ community, a building doesn't necessarily come to mind, but the Boulder County Courthouse was designated a National Historic Landmark in recognition of its significance in this area. Could you talk about the symbolism of this?
We think about Stonewall, where the first riots started of the modern gay civil rights movement. They have historic designation. Our courthouse, where the first same-sex marriage licenses, is that place for many people in committed relationships and committed relationships with families. On those days in 1975, you could enter that building and be a full member of civil society.
What do you hope people will take away from the life of Clela Rorex?
That one person can change the world for a lot of different people. Clela Rorex is the perfect example of somebody that did the right thing and did it because it was the right thing, not because it was an agenda, not because it was going to move her into some new role somewhere down the line. She did it because it was the right thing to do. And she did it because she acted out of integrity and had a good scooping of courage on top of it.
Mardi Moore is CEO of Rocky Mountain Equality, an LGBTQ advocacy group based in Boulder. She spoke with Erin O'Toole last summer about the late Clela Rorex, who issued Colorado's first same-sex marriage licenses in Boulder County in 1975. You can read more about Clela in our show notes and at kunc.org. That's it today for In the NoCo. I'm Brad Turner. Thanks for listening.